It is delivered by Darren Lacroix in the winning contest of Toastmasters speech. It is like equivalent to Academy Awards for what movies is. So it's a very motivational speech, and I'm trying to bring equivalent effects. Let's see how it goes. Can you remember your very first NSA event? Do you remember the feelings went through you? It was exactly 10 years ago. I still had a day job and I was very new to this comedian world. I was scared. I remember seeing the legends. I remember hearing stories of dozens of you who are so successful in speaking, making millions. But speech. I was sitting right there in the back. Suddenly a thought comes, wait a minute, it could be me sometime. But then comes a thought right from the depths of your brain. Starting it straightforward, true enthusiasm, until finally, down shouting. Yeah, Darren, great thought, but what if you fall on your face? What do you do when you fall on your face? Do you try to get right up and hope no one noticed? Or are you too concerned about what others are thinking rather than what you can learn from it? Is this the place where your horse did it? Man, fellow fallers. Ouch! Did you feel I stayed down there too long? Have you ever stayed down too long in your life? After 4 years of B school, I tried for an American dream. I went for entrepreneurship. I bought a subway sandwich shop. I took a debt of $60,000. In just 6 months, I doubled that debt. Yeah, I turned the subway sandwich shop into a non-profit organization. But I fell on my face financially. I remember my childhood days. My childhood hero, Dr. Robert Gordon, who has this ridiculous idea of making a device, taking out from ground and reaching in stars. Dr. Robert Gordon was the reason that we landed on moon. I remember my time when I had my ridiculous idea. I was driving down the streets, listening to a tape of Brian Tracy. He asks, what would you dare to dream if you knew you wouldn't fall? I was struggling for an answer, and then suddenly, bing! I'll be a comedian. But let's do that object. I'm not funny. In fact, the first time my brother ever laughed at me is when I told him I want to be a comedian. Ouch! So many of us who know where they are in life, in career, what they want to do, where they want to go. But what we go back and forth. Yes, when I'll have a little more time, when I'll have a little more money, when kids will grow a little older. But we don't take that first step. Dr. Gordon's first rocket, it takes off from Auburn and lands in Auburn. It only reaches 41 feet. But that was his first step. See, there are people out there who are strangers, who don't know you, who will make fun of your first step. But you know what? They are all obstacles in your way. I remember my struggling time. I had a very pathetic show. I screwed it all up, and I was like, oh. I called my madam, hey Rick, and Dad, I'm bombed. It was just screwed. Rickson, so? What do you mean so? How would you argue with so? But then Rick told me, any speaker, anyone who has ever accomplished anything in his life has first fallen on his face. You know what Dr. Gordon's assistant said? Every rocket that takes off from ground and do not lands in moon is not a failure, but has a valuable negative information. An information which takes you one step closer to moon. Dr. Robert Gordon was the outmaster. We need to be the outmaster. We need to take that first step, that step after that. All of us who are trying to do something in our life, we reach a point where we are stuck, we find our feet in cement. We know that. We don't want to risk it. If we lean forward, we'll fall. But get up. And notice, you still made progress. To conclude, I want to tell you all, if you are willing to fail, you can just learn anything. Come, fall free, but fall forward.